Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, August 13, 2026. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will have Planning Commissioner Harris lead us in that. All right, and we have Commissioner Mann is out tonight. Other than that, we have everyone in attendance. And we will now open for public input. This time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns, and comments for subject matter not listed as public hearing on the agenda. Please avoid repetitive comments. Limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be given to another, and time for public input is limited to no more than 15 minutes total. So if you're here for the Wander Community Plan Amendment, we're going to have comment on that a little bit later. Okay, seeing no public input, we'll go ahead and close that tonight and move to public hearing item number 1, Wander Community Plan Amendment 6, Community Plan Amendment, and Wander Village Plan 2 Amendment 3, Village Plan Amendment, located at 50 North Redwood Road. Greg Flint as applicant and Senior Planner Kendall Black.
Good evening, Commissioners. Oh, you guys want to come up? Just have them go over there. Okay, as you mentioned, this is for Wander Community Plan Amendment 6 and Wander Village Plan 2 Amendment 3. This is located just north of Holiday, just down the street. Okay, so a little background on this. In the current village plan, it shows as community commercial areas. They're not differentiated. So part of what the applicant has done is they've named them Community Commercial Zone 1, which is the one we're going to talk about, in Community Commercial Zone 2. So any effects or changes that are proposed are only for the one property. So one thing is for community commercial, you have a maximum height allowed for structures of 40 feet, and then maximum footprint, there isn't one. So what they're proposing is 39 feet, 11 inches at the highest point, which is not where we measure from. We measure from midpoint between peak and eaves. So it's actually, this would be, oh, I have it on a different slide. It's less than even that. The only request that they're asking for on this is to allow the hardware and home improvement retail use into this zone because it's currently not allowed in the village plan. And so, yeah, this, for the community plan, the only amendment that they had was the sentence to page 41. It says, in addition to the permitted uses listed in Saratoga Springs Municipal Code, hardware and home improvement retail shall be considered a permitted use within the Community Commercial Zone 1 in Village Plan 2. I'm not going to read all those, but those are all the changes on Village Plan 2. Most of them, it's going to be like a page number change or the change from Amendment 2 to Amendment 3 and stuff like that. And then all the actual changes I do have slides for that you can see. So this is the first 3. So it's, you see they added their logos and stuff to the cover page. They changed some of the page numbers that were actually wrong before, and they edited those. And then you see on the map, they have the Zone 1, Zone 2 for the community commercial portions. On here, for the commercial standards, they added the little paragraph there. If in the middle page, it adds the home improvement retail community commercial Zone 1 only. And then they added, and this next one's the fencing plan, and it's for Zone 1. So they're talking about their portion again. They added the commercial association because everything else in the village plan only talked about homeowners associations. And then they have the phasing maintenance plan on the next page, and the landscaping, saying they're going to follow Title 19. They actually said that they will add additional landscaping to make it less of a visible from the housing next to them. another page is added something about the utility plans. Then they added monument locations, the sign locations, and then what the signs would look like. And then talks about the geotech report that they did in May on the next page. Then it gives an approximation, just talking about the site for the middle one, and then adding the geotech report, the traffic impact study, and the concept plan for the last page on the appendices. And then just what the pages look like that were added. The other reports were submitted, but they're like 100 and something pages long, so I didn't add it on here. So they are available if anybody wants to see those as well. So did the access point map. So this shows a right in, right out onto Pony. Looks like it's right in, right out on Redwood, but it may be full access. We have to get with UDOT on that one still. Or do you?
Sorry, David Dobbins with Clyde Companies. We've met with UDOT. They've told us as of now it'll be right in, right out.
Okay, perfect. And then, so we have the two accesses on mezzanine. There's a full access at the bottom, and then the top one is allowed to be full access, but we worked with them. They wanted to make it less impactful on the residents, so they wanted a sharp right turn only, so it heads people down mezzanine and keeps them away from Ramble to try and mitigate some of that traffic. This is it. You can see on this one, if you look in the top right, how sharp the driveway looks like. So it's going to be harder for people to come off of Ramble and turn in there. And then this is the access, another one. It just tells what kind of access it is. Yellow is main customer access, blue secondary customer access, and so on. There's elevation. Oh, that's where it was. Okay. So as I was speaking about the building height, where we measure it from, it would actually only be 33 feet, 6 1/4 inches tall, which is 6 1/2 feet shorter than it actually is allowed to be. And that's at the peak. The rest of the building is actually, or most of the building is way lower than that. Oh, sorry. That's front elevations, and then those are the rear. Okay. Do you have any questions? And then we have people, I'm assuming.
Sure.
And so we actually need to do public comment
Okay,
first.
go ahead.
And so we'll now open for public comment on this item. The commission will accept public comment limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be given to another. Time for public input is limited to no more than 15 minutes. Let's try and keep our comments not repetitive, right? So if you're here about traffic on that street, we want to hear about it, but if there's other concerns, we also want to hear about those as well. So go ahead and please state your name and city of residence for the record. Also, make sure to kind of be really close to the mic. Thank you. Not yet.
How's this?
Great, thank
Great.
you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Woodbray. I am a Saratoga Springs resident living on Ramble Avenue. That is right next to North Mezzanine Lane, directly adjacent to the site that we are discussing. I want to be clear up front that our neighborhood is not here to oppose development. We understand this land is planned for commercial use. Our concern is specific to the two entrances that are planned on North Mezzanine Lane, which is our residential street. I spoke with the city planner about this, Kendall, and he explained something important, that the reason the site needs a second entrance on our street is the size of the hardware store for deliveries, lumber loading, and other use that require an additional access point. He told me that without a store this large, the site could work with a single entrance and exit placed at the far end of the street away from the homes. That is the heart of my concern tonight. This is traffic that the neighborhood has. This is not traffic that the neighborhood has to accept as unavoidable. It is traffic driven by oversized use, routing delivery trucks, lumber loading onto a residential street where children play, often early in the morning or late at night. Most of the buildings in this development sit towards Redwood Road and Pony Express Parkway, both arterial roads built to carry commercial traffic. We are asking the commission to keep the shopping center's traffic and deliveries on those main roads and protect North Mezzanine Lane. Our preferred solution is to make any mezzanine connection emergency access only, no public or delivery traffic, which still satisfies fire access while keeping our street residential. The other parts of this city already use emergency only access connections, so we know that it can be done. If the commission believes a public connection is unavoidable, then we ask for 2 conditions at a minimum. First, a single entrance placed at the far end away from our homes, and second, that it be a right-only exit so that customers and delivery trucks leaving the site are directed onto Pony Express Parkway immediately and cannot turn north into our neighborhood. Deliveries and lumber trucks should be restricted to the arterial side entrance entirely. Compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood is a core standard for this plan amendment, and routing commercial and delivery traffic onto a residential street does not meet it. You'll see many of our neighbors here tonight who share this concern. We ask the commission to respectfully condition any approval to protect our street. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Tyler. Yeah, we do want to hear from you.
Evening, my name is Jordan Johnson. I'm a Saratoga Springs resident, also from Ramble. Just make my voice echoed that I concur with the words of Tyler.
Okay, thank you. We did have some public comment that was emailed in. Do we need to read?
Thanks, Chair. Yes, we did receive several comments. I've put a check mark next to Mr. Woodbury and Mr. Johnson since they also emailed in. We received a comment from Allison. These are just summaries essentially of the comments because some of them are relatively long. So we just tried to take the main points. Allison would like to request emergency access only on mezzanine. She felt it would be best for the community to keep children safe by restricting public traffic and large shipments to the main roads of Pony Express and Redwood. Sean Rawlinson of Saratoga Springs expressed concerns regarding the potential development of a hardware store in or near the Wander community, particularly regarding traffic and pedestrian safety due to the area's young population, nearby schools, frequently used walking and bike paths. He requested that vehicle and truck access be carefully planned and limited to routes that minimize conflicts with pedestrians, bicyclists, and other traffic, with safety as a primary consideration in the final design, and also expressed a preference for other types of commercial development that they believe would better fit the community. Stephanie Mehmet requested that public and customer access to the proposed development from Mezzanine Lane be prohibited, with access limited to emergency vehicles only. She cited neighborhood safety concerns and noted that other main roads provide sufficient access for public traffic. And Dang Tran requested that public and customer access from Mezzanine Lane be prohibited, with the connection limited to emergency vehicles only. He cited safety concerns related to children, delivery trucks, and customer traffic, and requested that primary access remain from Pony Express and Redwood Road. And that's all.
Okay. Any other public input? I got one more.
My name is Tyler Crouch. I am also a Saratoga Springs resident on Rainbow Avenue. I've got 5 kids, support all the comments that have been made about reducing traffic. Specifically, I'm noticing that the plans to have the right turn only off of Mezzanine funnel all traffic south to Pony Express anyway. And at that point on Pony Express, it would be a right turn only onto Pony Express. They can't turn both directions. So there's not a lot of benefit to having those access on Mezzanine because the traffic's going to end up flowing westbound on Pony Express anyway. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment and open commissioner comment. Oh, did one more. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Jessica Spurrier, and I live in the Wander community as well. My concern is the traffic flow, but also the noise issues that we could experience with deliveries from like a retail store like this. We already have a lot of noise issues from the gas station that's on the corner of Pony and Redwood, specifically the car wash. So my concern is with deliveries potentially being delivered between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., which is when normal deliveries get delivered for retail stores, that it would be waking up children and people that work late or work in the middle of the night and trying to sleep or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, that's sleeping time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comment. We'll go ahead and close public comment and move to commissioner comment. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Chair. Kendall, as I was going through the presentation and you made mention to it, Appendix D had a traffic study, and they can be quite long, but I think I'd like just to get some of the overarching points of that so that we get a sense of what the professionals said about traffic patterns and the effect that it might have on the neighborhood.
So there's two different ones. There's evening peak hour and then Saturday peak hour. So you'll notice when they did the traffic study, it was still proposed as the full access. So you'll see where it shows at Ramble and Mezzanine where it's coming out by the lumberyard, it's showing 24 going straight. That would be not 24, they'd be going south. So that would change that number going across on Ramble. Also, you'll see there was another number that would change as well because of that. And then for Saturday peak hour, same thing. They weren't that different. They're about the same.
So peak hours, we're looking at traffic for a period of 1 hour during the peak time. And
Yeah.
so if I understand that, coming out at what is now going to be a right turn only, we could anticipate, well, we could maybe anticipate 27 because they'd all have to go down, correct? And then the road that's right south of the lumberyard, 8 that would be going down to Pony Express, and they anticipate 10 coming in that could be coming down from Ramble and turning in, or it could also be, well, yeah, it'd be 10. So that per hour, it's minimal, but it does have effect as we see and we think the neighbors that coming in and talking about the concerns and the impact on your neighborhood. So thank you, Kendall. That was really one of the things I wanted to see. Is I wanted to see those numbers and the effect that would have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Do we have other commissioner comment tonight? Commissioner Rather.
Yeah, Kendall, can I just get some clarification? Are we, regarding the recommendation tonight, is it based on just the language in the zone, or is it for this particular project?
So this is planned community, so it's in the village plan. So it's in the village plan, it states that it's gonna be community commercial, and hardware home improvement is regional commercial. Where'd it go? Anyways, yeah.
So the
So
language
that's the
would-
part that it says, and it says it's gonna be community commercial, and they're just trying to add that use is little, that's what's changing on it.
So for the community plan, they're requesting to have the use added to this location only, and not every piece of community commercial that's in here. And then in the village plan, they're showing the conceptual layout. So if that was approved as shown, then the site plan would be a staff approval.
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Hill.
I'd like to address the owners of the property and thank you for being cognizant of the impact that northern exit could be. Are we able to put that's a one-way sign? Because it'd be so dangerous to kind of veer in and hit the curb. So would it be a one-way?
Yeah, it'd just be right out, I'm assuming, yeah. We
Okay.
have some of those in the city though, and so you're always gonna have people that don't
Okay.
listen, but
Okay.
we can put one.
The question I have is, as you've had an opportunity to have conversation with the residents, what are your feelings about that exit being at the south end of your location? I'm sure you guys have talked about it because you've looked at the northern, and you feel that that might have impede into coming in. It's a, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other buildings in there, so it's going to be a kind of a, it's, although it's not a regional, but it's going to have traffic in there. Could you share your thoughts about that southern exit?
My name is Patrick, by the way. So thank you for having us here today. I'm with Home Build, who would be the potential occupant here. The southern access point, I don't think will be largely used. I think it is just a secondary entrance and exit, given that with the proximity to the one just to the south of it. I think that it's more so based on fire code that there would be an incremental access point there. As Kendall had mentioned, the one to the north, we actually moved our entire building, I think 20 feet south in the site plan to enable us to be able to make that a right turn only and a one-way out and get rid of the dual access. But I don't think that they'll be heavily used, just given, especially that southern one, the proximity to the entrance that's next to it.
Thank you for that insight. I'd feel much like, I feel much like you, that we've talked that when you come down there, you cannot make a right-hand turn, so it puts you back out on Pony. And the only reason to go there, I would think, would be going up Pony Express up to Eagle Mountain, because I think you're gonna wanna go out Redwood, beyond the traffic light that's at Redwood and Pony, just because then you can flow right into it. But those are just my observations. I did go out and look at the site again and just kind of look at the maps and get a sense of some of those things. So, you know, what we're dealing with today is code, and you guys have gone forward under our code, which sometimes public has a hard time with that, but you're basing everything on our code, and you've already made concessions, I feel, for that northern exit there. So I just wanted to get some insights from you, so thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Wilden.
Yeah, just had a question. I see the footprint, the proposed footprint. If this was allowed and they backed out, then would this open it up to a very large lumber company, a whole different scenario based on this allowance? Could a Lowe's or even some other organization move in there that was not what we're looking at here?
I mean, it would be the use for hardware and home improvement, so something could move in that's the same use. If it was something different, they'd have to do a change of use, and then if it didn't meet parking and everything else, we could deny it.
Yeah, okay, so if this was approved, a Lowe's or possibly Home Depot or something like that could move in to this location otherwise if we approve this?
Yes.
If I may comment on that, so the size of the building that we have, and a big thesis of what we have of our organization is that the big box stores are kind of so hard to navigate. The small, like Aces and True Values of the world, you don't necessarily know if they're going to have what you want. So I say that to say we have a building that's kind of in the middle of that, 3 times the size of an Ace, 1/3 the size of a Home Depot or a Lowe's at about 35,000 square feet. And just from a footprint standpoint, the size of the plot of land wouldn't necessarily be able to sustain a Home Depot or a Lowe's, given that the entirety of the plot is about 8 acres, and I think they typically look for more than that.
Yeah, that's true. It's just that something we have to consider is when there's allowance, then, I mean, I've seen this exact same thing in another town where it was allowed for a lumber company to come in and they didn't build, and something different was brought in that was not as favorable.
Yeah, of course.
So we have to be prepared for that. And thank you, Chair.
I think if that is a concern, you could put a size restriction
It's a good idea.
in the community plan language.
That might solve that. Thank you.
Is there any information around why a home improvement store is not allowed in community commercial right now? Like why the difference in the zoning?
There is the main difference so we have 3 commercial zones. We have neighborhood commercial, community commercial, and regional commercial, and the more intense uses are in the regional commercial zone.
So like an Ace Hardware would have needed to go into the regional commercial zone.
Right, hardware and home improvement categorically as a whole is only in the regional commercial zone.
Is that just because of the size, or?
You know, that's a good question. These have been in place for a long time, so I don't know that we got into the nitty-gritty of, you know, whether or not it could be an Ace versus a Home Depot. I think generally it was in consideration of something like a Home Depot.
Okay,
Yeah, neighborhood commercial is the only one that has a size limit.
okay.
The other ones are allowed to be however big, as long as it'll work.
So, one of the residents brought up the second exit is because specifically to accommodate a lumber store. Is that correct?
From what I understood from the fire marshal is it was required to have both of those. And I asked him if we were able to reduce it from a full access to the right out only, and he said that should work. But we were supposed to have two on there.
So no matter what store is going in there, there will be two.
Well, he said if it was just a bunch of like restaurants, it could be one exit only. But then you're gonna have way more cars coming in, but, yeah.
And
If
if I
it's-
could, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to comment on the deliveries of lumber. Our intention is to not route trucks down there, nor do I think that they would want to go down there. Our intention is to route them through the main entrances and exits, especially with where our loading dock is. It will just be far easier for them to back into coming through one of the main entrances.
Okay. And is this going to be the first home-built store that's opened?
It is not. We are breaking ground on a new location in Orem 2 weeks from yesterday. So it will be the second location that opens of 3 that we are opening right now.
Okay. How are we on the parking for this particular development?
It met parking.
By a lot or a little? Because here's the thing, right? We constantly have this argument in the city about parking and traffic. And when Home Depot came in, there was a lot of comment about Home Depot not putting stuff and using their parking lot as an extra storage space.
Mhm.
Lo and behold, look what we have going on. If I remember right, some of the Aces and other stores like that also use the parking lot as extra storage space. So are we going to be setting ourselves up for a situation where a type of retail that we know habitually breaks that rule, are we opening ourselves up to have that rule broken?
I can't foresee what they're gonna do, honestly, but.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't foresee either, but I can guess, right?
I don't know
So
what their business model is on if they have outdoor anything or displays or any of that, but
how are they on their parking though for what they're proposing?
I think it met it right at, I can't remember.
Right at it.
Or a couple extra.
What I will add to that is there is no intention right now to merchandise outside. And just to maybe take a step back of what we are looking to build. So first of all, this is the newest subsidiary of the Clyde Companies that's based down in Orem. So we're not necessarily new to retail hardware. We have a store in Springville that's been open for about 90 years now. And this is just kind of like the next evolution of what we think home improvement and design can be. Our intention is, as I mentioned, to kind of have that middle ground of a store, but an elevated experience. So what we kind of coined it as like the Trader Joe's of retail, where it's going to be much higher ceilings. The aisles are going to be much further apart, so it's a more comfortable shopping experience. We're going to have this elevated seasonal, displays. 20% of the floor plan is dedicated to accessible design, so a design center with on-staff designers that can help you pick out your paint colors that match your cabinets, that match your countertops. We do, on the south end of this, you'll see, it will be a seasonal lawn and garden area that is all contained inside. And I say all this to say that merchandising outside would not necessarily go with an elevated experience that we're looking to have. It'd be more so that it's curated environment inside the store.
But we don't know for sure because y'all haven't been open for yet, so.
Yeah, and I will totally agree with you on that.
Commissioner Rather.
Yeah, regarding the site exiting, is there, I understand the need to have 2 exits. is there any reason to have the exits off of the east side at all? I mean, we have the exiting on the south and on the west, right? Is the fire department asking for specifically for those east exits?
When I talked with Fire Marshal, he said that they both needed to be there.
Okay, so, and then, and kind of like one of the residents said, and I've seen this in other places, I mean, would the fire department consider and accept those being completely controlled just for their use only, you know, and not, you know, not any other traffic? Because
That would be
Yeah.
the fire chief. So. I brought him just in case.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just, you know, I'm just wondering, and it, you know, it looks like there's a, yeah, I guess that's a church next door,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I'd ask our fire marshal who
That's
is here.
fire chief.
Fire chief.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you. So the fire marshal's out of town. He asked that I attend for him, but I do not see a problem with it being fire restricted access only. In an emergency, it would reduce the ability of the patrons of the businesses to exit quickly. That may be a consideration I'd have to talk to the fire marshal about, but no, I don't see it as a large problem myself. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question, because I think, you know, there could be a need in an emergency, but if it's just fire restricted access only on that east side, I think that could make sense.
So would we, I mean, does that mean we would be limiting traffic for the church that's next door, right? Because they're also going to have traffic that wants to turn into that neighborhood. And if we're applying one standard there, should that not apply next door as well?
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, I
question.
see your point on that. I think the traffic intensity based on that study is probably quite a bit different in terms of the timing and probably the volume for the church versus this parcel. But I mean, that's a valid point.
Mhm.
Commissioner Hill.
I know that we're talking today about the 35,192, your location, but could we talk a little bit about the full impact? Do we know the types of retail shops that are going to be in there? Right now, we don't have fast food in that corridor, and that can be a draw depending who comes in. So I know this is all preliminary and you don't have control over that, but do you have a sense of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other locations on this site, what they might look like? You may not, but it gives us some sense also of traffic patterns if we knew.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't. So we are looking to purchase, it's about 3 to 3.5 acres of the 8 acres. The rest of it is controlled by Land Reserve, and I know that they plan to develop it in the future, but we would be the first ones to develop it on the land.
So you'd be phase 1?
Yeah.
Okay. And Kendall, do you have any insight from that perspective?
I do have a comment. SLR, LR, they sent me a letter to read out, if I can. It says, we agree that the interconnection of commercial, residential, meeting house, and other streets are crucial. I thought I'd send over some talking points. Fire requires access from 2 points on Mezzanine Lane. We have significantly revised the site plan by moving Homebelt's building to the south, breaking the direct alignment with Ramble Avenue. To further alleviate residents' concerns, we made the northeast access exit, I mixed the two words. It will be angled to the feed south onto Mezzanine Lane, directing exiting traffic away from Ramble. The angled egress will also make it very inconvenient to cut through Ramble to save time, as the only ingress on Mezzanine will now be on the southeast corner, further discouraging traffic and trucks from using the residential neighborhood as a drive corridor. Any alternatives such as dead-end roading will bifurcate meeting house access and could potentially increase residential congestion on days the meeting house is in use. Mezzanine was always intended to serve the commercial site. These homes were sold with knowledge of the adjacent commercial use. The access, location, and site layout would not require a public hearing if the land were sold to a grocer, gym, or any other currently permitted use. Those uses, which would be of the alternate uses to Homebelt, would likely generate more traffic and require two-way accesses directly onto Ramble. We believe we have listened to the residents' concern and developed a win-win solution with Home Built that goes above and beyond what other currently permitted users would be willing to do. Additionally, a gym, grocer, or any other use that is currently permitted could proceed with direct access onto Ramble without public comment. Again, reinforcing Home Built's newest site plan as a major improvement above what is already currently permitted. In addition to our thoughts, Joseph from Hazel's Engineering, restricting traffic between the development and Ramble Lane would discourage visits from neighborhoods to the east because returning to these neighborhoods would take several minutes due to the fact that turning left onto Pony Express Parkway is not possible because of the median. Residents living in North Shore and much of the Wander Village development would need to circle back around via Redwood Road under Pioneer Crossing, adding traffic to already congested roads. The connection to Ramble Lane may improve emergency access from the development to some of the larger hospitals on the north or east side of the valley, as well as Lehigh fire stations. From a transportation planning perspective, providing increased connectivity is generally good practice because it gets vehicles off of busy main roads. Ramble was built to handle the capacity of the commercial development. I want to say when we were talking at the site, it was going to be multi-tenant buildings, like many of the other ones that we have in the city. They didn't give specific stores though.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank
That
you,
didn't
Kendall.
really
Well, thank you
answer it,
for
but it-
thank you for reading that, because it
Yeah.
gives kind of the thought process that has been put in. Home Built, thank you for the insights from that perspective. Chair, I didn't see any, it was all comply. You know, they worked really hard to comply with the code, and I just feel the concessions that have been made are going to minimize the traffic on Ramble. And so thank you for all the hard work. We're held captive to the codes and the zoning and everything. To get outside of that, you gotta go to city council, but we're more administrative, so thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Roman?
Just for clarification, what exactly does the code say is needed for the exits, entrances and exits?
I don't do fire code, but when I talked to Fire Marshal, he said there was 2 exits. I was just talking with our chief here, and he was saying that if they were fire accesses only, they would not be able to be blocked off. It would be signs saying fire access only. So people could still ignore the signs and go in and out.
Are we not allowing the church to exit into the neighborhood and exit, turn right out of the church parking lot then? No?
I didn't do the church site plan.
Yeah, okay.
So at this point in time, it's approved and the church site is approved and it's not approved with any access limitations.
Okay.
It's not part of the current request.
Yeah.
But one of the comments you read from the traffic report does make sense. If you're a resident in that area, not being able to go left out of that southeast area is kind of problematic. Yeah, I mean, at least for local traffic, I would probably want to be able to turn left back into my neighborhood. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Chief, for being here tonight. I was kind of rude and didn't thank you for your comments. Appreciate you being here to answer our questions. Okay. Any other commissioner comment? Thank you, Commissioner Roman. Oh, Commissioner Harris?
You mentioned you guys would encourage deliveries to happen from like the main entrances. Is there any way we can require that? Like, do commercial trucks have to kind of avoid the residential streets or anything?
I mean, we have signs on certain roads that say no commercial trucks over such and such weight. Again, it's a sign.
And so and then concerning some of the traffic patterns, when I look at this, the only way for anyone to get to this from the south is off Mezzanine from the north, my bad. You have to come down Redwood, go on to, what's this road with the roundabout?
That's Pony Express.
Okay, so they have to go Pony Express to the roundabout, come back, go north on Mezzanine, and then turn in. And then for all of those people to get out, they can, I guess, go back up Redwood. But then anyone to the west is all gonna go mezzanine and this smaller road to the north of the church. So that's kind of, I can understand the concern. So they can't turn this way though. They're
Right.
stuck this way. And the only way to get to like the top right corner of the screen is to go mezzanine.
Right. So it really impedes the ability of local.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, just thinking out loud a little bit there, but
All right, so the traffic is a thing, and I get it, and obviously we want people to be able to be happy in their homes and be able to not have a ton of traffic. The issue here tonight, though, is are we going to recommend, or what recommendation are we going to make about bringing a home goods store into this zoning area? I'm not seeing. To me, there's not a reason to not have a home goods store in this level of zoning. I think that you're looking at the same deliveries that a small grocery store or restaurant would have. Yeah, so really what the question here tonight is, what are we gonna do with that? Commissioner Wilden?
Yeah, if we do move forward, I would recommend that we condition the size and have a size condition to make sure that we're not opening it up in case you changed your mind and went somewhere else to something that the neighborhood was not expecting. What the neighborhood gets is somewhat close to what they were expecting when they moved in the neighborhood. But we do not want to have a situation where they get something that they weren't expecting, and this opens it up to a real negative situation. What would your recommendation on the size that we can put in?
I would probably say 40,000 as a good, because it's 35 something right now, but you don't know if it's gonna go a little bit bigger or whatever. I'd say 40 is a decent number.
So 40,000 square feet? Okay, all right, thank you very much. That would be a thought for us
Yeah.
to consider, is just limiting that size if we do move forward with it.
Okay. I do want to just hear from the commission on, is there any thought around the difference between a home goods store and a grocery store? A reason to not allow a home goods store at this level of zoning and commercial?
You know, I think a grocery store would have a lot more traffic, a lot of more in and out, fast types of things. I just look at Ridley's, you know, that's a very busy parking lot, a lot of people there. I just see people coming here and taking more time, so there's not as much, there's not as much quick in and out. So I think it would limit traffic a little bit for this type of a store compared to a grocery store.
yeah, I had one thought as I was looking at this of all the uses that could come in here. Is the hardware store the worst option? And I don't think it is.
Thank you, Commissioner Hale and Commissioner Harris. Any thought on that, Commissioner Roman?
No, you made a really good point. I agree. And I want to thank everyone else who came here tonight. It's really awesome to see people actually come and get involved. So thank you.
Commissioner Other?
Thanks, yeah, just a couple more thoughts. The northeast access point, I guess I'll first start by saying, we're really right now we're going to make a motion based on the language to allow a home improvement store, right? Remind me, the process to then, it's a staff approval for the site plan, right? Are we able to make any, conditions or comments regarding access to the site then at this point or not?
So this is what would be being approved. It would be going that only.
Kendall, can you speak into the mic better?
Sorry.
Thank
This
you.
would be the only thing that would be working on. The rest of this was just to show you what the concept was and that was for the geotech report, because you can see where it was bored.
Now would be the time to do that, because then it would be regulated by the community plan. Once the community plan's approved, we wouldn't be able to add a condition like that.
I'd ask my fellow commissioners then regarding that northeast access point, is it helpful to not, is there any need for that one? If we have the southeast one that does allow left and right turns, is there any reason for that upper one? And would that kind of help alleviate some of the traffic concern closer to the homes?
But
The
that,
fire
but that
marshal
won't go
required.
by the homes, because they won't be able to walk
I
around.
mean, I know how people drive around here, but, I mean, in theory, yes.
Well,
I'm-
didn't the fire chief say we have to have the 2 accesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I guess because considering, so those future phase access points don't qualify.
They don't
I
exist.
see, yeah, okay.
That's why I kind of wanted clarification that exactly what does the code state? Like,
I can, so
I see.
Fire Code Appendix D, do you want me to read that? And I don't know how you guys apply this, so I'm reading the language, but I don't know how it gets applied. It says buildings exceeding 62,000 square feet in area shall be provided with 2 separate and improved fire apparatus access roads.
So that's the aggregate, so that's gonna be all of the buildings together. That's not just the one building, as I read it, but maybe is that how you understood it? So it would be all the buildings together if it's up to that 64,000 or.
Okay.
Chair, again, from my perspective, we've had great discussion on this. We've gone into the code. I feel very comfortable after talking to all the parties involved that making sure that we have that right-only turn on the northeast corner, it alleviates a lot, but it also gives their trucks the opportunity to navigate and do the things they do need to get out. And so I'm feeling very comfortable with the discussions we've had. I like what Doug has indicated, that maybe we put a 40,000 square foot limit, so it keeps us within the parameters, that we don't get something bigger that creates more concern than we have right now.
Okay. I like that. I really also do wish that we could put something about not using the parking lot as storage. I guess I'll just have to haunt you if you do it. It's not a good option here. Commissioner Harris.
I want to clarify, are the entrances from Pioneer and Pony Express part of phase one?
No, phase one
No.
will just be the home-built site.
So we don't know how long it'll be until we have those, okay.
Which entrances?
Are there?
No, the entrances from Pioneer and Pony will, from Redwood Road and Pony Express will be built when we build this.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
it will,
Okay,
Okay.
'cause without
That was
that,
phase one.
yeah, that's, I
that
wanted
would
to
not
verify.
work.
Okay.
You'll
Well,
do
that-
all of the improvements to be able to have sidewalks and road from Redwood and Pony to your location.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Well, that's why I'm questioning the northeast access. If those two access points off Redwood and Pony are available, then, and we have the southeast access, that's really 3 points at that point, right? Am I
It-
making a?
It is, but they've indicated that we don't have a choice on that. That's the fire.
For
Well,
that
we
one?
might have a choice, but it doesn't impact the neighborhood, because it's moving it all down past the stake center there. So there'll be no residential, and, again, I think that's just another access point to get out in case of emergency, because it doesn't impact the neighborhood, is my feeling.
I guess I'm confused because so those are both required, Fire Chief, as far as you're concerned on the east? Is that right?
I believe so. According to the fire marshal and his review of the code,
Okay.
the size of the building, the desire to access the east side of these larger stores, it's important to have that access.
Okay, Okay.
At least how I understand it.
okay, thank you.
Any other commissioner comment? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead. I move that the Planning Commission move forward a recommendation for approval of the requested community plan amendment for Wander Community Plan Amendment 6, Home Built, and the requested Village Plan Amendment for Wander Village Plan 2 Amendment, oh, excuse me, yeah, 2 Amendment 3 Home Built, located on the corner, northeast corner of Pony Express and Redwood Road, with the findings and conditions in the staff report. And I'll just throw this in, and that we add an additional that site cannot be more than 40,000 square feet.
Can I please clarify your language? You stated that site. Would you be interested in clarifying that the hardware and home improvement use may not be larger than that?
Okay. Well, I think our discussion was that we don't want to get more than 40,000, whether it's them or anybody else, because it brings more traffic and so, am I right?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
So that would be the building, not the site.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
yes.
what I meant, Sarah, sorry.
Okay. We have a motion from Commissioner Hill. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Commissioner Wilden. Do we have any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner Rather, would you like to make a statement on your vote?
Sure. I, kind of like I was addressing, I just feel like something could be done to reduce the flow of traffic to the east side. It maybe hasn't been resolved in that particular site plan, but I would think that maybe that it could be worked out through the staff and through the fire department to reduce the access. If not, okay, but that's what I'm opposed to.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that with us tonight, and that matter does pass, so we will move on to our next business item.
Can I just follow up with the residents? So this is a public hearing, and they made a recommendation to the city council. The next step is for this to go to the city council. That one is not a public hearing, so you don't get notice for that, but you're welcome to attend that meeting, and at the beginning of the meeting, they do allow general public comment if you would like to share your comments during that time at the council meeting. Yes. When is that? When's the council?
Tuesday.
Yes, it's, hold on, I will tell you, when does this go to council? Just a minute, and I will share with you.
I do want to just also say thank you for coming tonight. We do appreciate you coming. We do appreciate your input. We do appreciate hearing the things. And it's helpful. It helps guide our city in the direction we want to try and get it to go.
Sorry, I didn't have it up, and it's just taking a minute because I'm in a different room than I'm normally in. So is it the... Do you have it on here yet? I don't see it on here yet. September 1st.
Okay, so this matter will be in front of City Council on September 1st.
Yes,
Okay,
And
thank
Sarah,
you.
they start at 6 o'clock?
they do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to business item number 1, the Jungle Gym Academy Home Occupation Class 3 located at 461 North Stone Ridge Drive. Kaylee Moulton as applicant and planner 2 Caden Baines will be presenting tonight.
Yes,
And
so
do
we have
wanna
a.
just invite Kaylee up for
Yes,
your
Kaylee,
presentation?
the applicant is here if she'd like to come up. You can stand at the lectern there. All right, so we have a Class 3 home occupation for Jungle Gym Academy. The applicant is going to be running a preschool in her basement as well as pediatric therapy. So in the morning, there will be a preschool with up to 10 students, and in the afternoon, one-on-one therapy sessions with up to 5 individuals. The reason this is coming before the Planning Commission is because she'll be having more than 8 students at one time, which makes it a Class 3 home occupation. The home occupation will be located at 461 North Stone Ridge Drive, and it's a planned community zone. Through the staff has completed its code review and found that it complies with code, and the Mount Saratoga Community Plan and Village Plan 1 do not provide any additional regulations on home occupations. The home occupation will be taking place in the basement and will take up 1,100 square feet, which is 33% of the home, and she also has a finished main floor and upstairs, which is counted in that total square footage of the home. Are there any questions for me or the applicant?
Yeah, so is this like physical therapy, or what type of therapy is this?
It's occupational therapy and speech therapy at this time.
Nice. Okay.
So, and those will be starting in January is when we're planning on having those officially start, so.
Nice. Okay. And are you gonna do eating therapy with that, or just speech?
Yeah, so my dad is our occupational therapist. He's my business partner, and he does feeding therapy with his occupational therapy. And then our SLP, our speech language practitioner, will also do feeding therapy as needed for infants and very young children.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
That's really so exciting and nice to have those kind of services coming in to an area of so many small children. And
we are also an integrated preschool as well, which is, we're the only one in the area that does full integration. My background's in special education, so it's something we're incredibly passionate about and very excited to be able to bring something to the community to help those kids.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Ken, for the report. It was very thorough. Again, 2 shall complies, 1 being outdoor activities, and I'm sure you've talked about it, so we've overcome that. And then the business license, that's just a matter of doing it. The only concern I have is it's a narrow street, very narrow, and cars park on both sides. I'm a neighbor down on Woodland Road, so I go down that way to get my mail every day. I just have a little concern that you do follow through with staggering start and finish, because people will come early and they'll stay out there. And I'll tell you, that end of the street is almost wall-to-wall cars on both sides, and you can't get a big truck through there for sure. And so that's my only concern, is that you're cognizant of that and your neighbors, and because that could be a bottleneck there.
Yes, and I agree with you. We've had issues on Woodland itself with construction vehicles blocking and people putting rocks in the road. So me and my husband both are very aware of that being an issue, and ensure that we stagger. I have drop-off times that start 10 minutes before school starts, and then some of my special needs kids come a little bit later to ensure that we are
How long are the sessions typically? Are they in hour increments, or?
For preschool or for therapy?
I'm guessing
either.
preschool's much longer.
Yeah, so preschool is from 9 to 11:30, so it's 2.5 hours.
Okay, 2.5 hours.
And then we start drop off at 8:50 to stagger that.
And then therapy?
Therapy are hour sessions usually, unless it is an intensive session, then they are 3 hours.
Okay. Well, I just, I make mention of that just because of being a neighbor. I just know how congested that can be. And, in your information of those that utilize your service, they need to know that too. And, you know, I just know some moms, when you're doing therapy, they just park their car for an hour because it's
Yes.
easier for them to just stay there than go home and come back. So just that, my concern for the record.
And with therapy, we'll never have more than 2 sessions running, like 1 speech, 1 occupational therapy. And so that would be 1 client per each that fits in those 2 parking spots in our driveway. Me and my husband ensure those are
That's great.
cleared out, and we have plenty of ample like side yard space and everything too, to make sure that we have a good amount of space on that side of the house. We have our house shifted so that we can have that space.
Thank you for that input, and very excited to have that in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
It's needed.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Any other commissioner comment? Okay, I like to just say, just as a reminder, especially with little ones, when we're running late, we tend to rush, but this is when we shouldn't rush because little ones are out, so slow down and just remind those parents to slow down.
Always.
All right, we'll go
As we
ahead
said,
and,
those streets are very narrow, so I go over that in my parent meeting at the beginning of the year. It's in the
Keep going over
presentation.
it, though.
So always, always.
all right, we will now entertain a motion.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Roman.
I'm not familiar with that park, Saratoga Ridge Park. Is there a way that you can have parents or tell them, say, hey, if you want to hang out, you can go towards that park to hang out versus sit outside, you know, for the ones who want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that most parents end up having to leave immediately to either go back to work or to pick up elementary school kids because the school drop-offs are all over the place and pickups. So I know that like pickups start almost right after preschool on some days. But I can make sure to include that to my parents and say, hey, if you're wanting to hang out and chat with friends or set up play dates, I also send them I will be sending them a school directory at the beginning of the year too, so they can contact each other and know
There's
how to
a
take that
substantial
space.
parking place up at the park.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
yeah. I like thinking worst case scenario, so.
Yes, and if I ever have some sort of outdoor activity with the preschoolers that I host, I would always do it at the park as well, because our backyard's not finished yet, so we don't have the outdoor space as was mentioned in the application.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much.
Of course.
So for this level with the preschool, the parents are just dropping off, but with the therapies, parents are staying with the child for that session?
Potentially. They could drop off or they could stay. It's up to the parent. So it is parent discretion up to them. So.
All right, well, we will now entertain a motion.
So, Chair, I move the Planning Commission approve the requested Class 3 home occupation for Jungle Gym Academy located at 462 North Stone Ridge Drive, and the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilden.
461.
461 North Stone Ridge Drive. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I just want to make sure it's right.
Do you want me to correct the spelling on Jungle Gym too?
No, Jungle Gym should be. I think it was right up there. I think we fixed it.
I don't know.
So, JYM. My dad's name is Jim, so that's kind of where it comes from.
Okay, do we have a second on that motion?
I second.
We've got a second from Commissioner Harris. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to business item number 2, approval of minutes for July 30th, 2026. And I have the cheat sheet.
Chair, I recommend approval of the minutes on July 30th, 2026.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilden. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Sorry, was that Commissioner Roman? Commissioner Hill? So we've got a second from Commissioner Hill. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll now vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes as well. Move on to Commissioner reports, Commissioner comments. Any Commissioner comments tonight? All right, Director report.
Okay. The council held a meeting on the 4th and they approved 4 planning items. So 2 are in Saratoga Springs Commercial, Plat G, Lot 7, 10, and 711. And then Jacobs Ranch Marketplace, Lot 10, site plan was approved. And the Evasive Fiber Shelter at UCCU major site plan amendment was approved. Your next meeting will be on August 27th. And it looks like that will probably be a busy meeting. And then we are going to actually cancel the September 10th meeting because most of us will be at a conference in Logan and it would be difficult to get back here to hold that meeting. And then I do want to start reminding you about completing your annual training forms as the end of the year is approaching.
Excellent, thank you. Do we need to do a closed session tonight?
Nope.
All right, we will adjourn this meeting.